Both the US dollar and the Japanese yen are weakening this week. Let's have a look at it. This is the US dollar index on the 4-hour chart. You see we've been in a good run up since the end of December, but it's reversing now. We've traded mostly sideways through February. Not much sense in this pattern. I can't even really call it a head and shoulders pattern. It's not clear enough, but we have broken below important support around the 104.00, 103.90 area. We're down to 103.70. There is a very minor trend line about a month old there. I don't think that's going to hold it. I think the fact that we've broken below that 104.00, 103.90 area is significant. When you look at the daily chart, it's obvious we haven't gone anywhere since December of 2022. So we just go up a bit, we go down a bit. And that's really the reason. That is just the pattern. Up a bit, down a bit. We don't go in one direction for too long. Now, although the dollar and the yen is weakening against other currencies, when you put the dollar-yen chart up there, you can see we've only gone sideways, well, certainly since the 13th of February, when we had a big move up in the dollar. No follow-through whatsoever. All we've done is hold within that range of that day ever since, in fact. So we really are going nowhere. There's a triangle pattern, so there's really nothing I can do with this when we're just moving sideways in small ranges. And again, as you can see on the daily chart, we've really just been going sideways for quite a few months, so there's no clear trend or pattern. Moving averages even on the daily chart are flat lining, so these don't present particularly exciting opportunities. Let's look at some of the currency pairs that are actually moving. New Zealand dollar is showing some strength, particularly against the yen, as you can see. Again, mostly consolidating sideways for a number of months, but we're really pushing higher now. We've broken above previous highs and we are accelerating to the upside. So we are in something of a longer term bull trend, punctuated by very long periods of sideways action, but we do seem to be accelerating to the upside after the breakout of the previous highs for the New Zealand dollar versus the Japanese yen. The New Zealand dollar is not quite so strong against the US dollar, but you can see we are starting to move on the upside on the daily chart. A number of green candles. The 1-hour chart certainly does look more positive. We've moved up strongly since this low around the 14th of February, and now we've broken above this trend line. So it does look like the New Zealand dollar can accelerate to the upside against the US dollar as well. The euro was in this rather volatile bull trend, very difficult to hold on to a long position up until the beginning of February. But now something of a smoother move to the upside, as you can see, would be a lot easier now to hold a long position. And we're getting something of an acceleration here as well in the euro versus the yen. And when you look at the daily chart, we're seeing more green candles recently. I think there's a very good chance we're going to go and retest the high at 164.30 that we saw in November of last year. And of course, a break above there would be a buy signal. Surprisingly, the euro has broken above some strong resistance levels down here around the 108.00, 108.10 area. We've beaten the moving averages on the 1-hour chart. We've even got some bullish crossovers on the 1-hour chart for the euro versus US dollar. We're beating previous highs. We are accelerating to the upsides. Maybe we can now recover some of those losses that we saw through January. I can't see any reason why the euro will not continue to appreciate against the US dollar, at least on a technical basis. The Australian dollar versus the US dollar has also broken up, and we've beaten resistance around the 65.40, 65.50 area. Again, we're now above all the hourly moving averages. We're above the 23.6% fib. We've broken above these trend lines. On a fundamental basis, I don't really understand it, but it doesn't matter. The Aussie is beating previous highs now. So the next target is 66.00, 66.10. We start getting up through 66.20, and then we will be able to push up further towards 66.50 and even 67.00. The Aussie is even stronger against the Japanese yen now that we beat the sort of 98.00 level a few days ago. We're really pushing higher. The yen is certainly falling significantly across the board against most currencies. And shorting the yen does seem to be the trend trade of the moment. Aussie now beating the November high at 98.60. We're up to 98.80. So it's just breaking to new territory, and I think this will signal a new leg higher in the longer term bull trend after a long period of sideways action. Maybe this is an exciting breakout which will see the Australian dollar accelerate higher against the Japanese yen. Hopefully the start of a decent bull trend and an opportunity to get in on a swing trade. Canadian dollar versus the Japanese yen also through the high of September 23 111.3, which was at 111.17, well through there now as we trade up to 111.60. We've been trading mostly sideways for a number of days in February, as you can see from the daily chart, but I think we can push higher. I think eventually we will break up through 111.61. Maybe this is the start of a significant move to the upside for the Canadian dollar versus Japanese yen. Maybe this is the start of a really decent bull move after such a long period of consolidation, a really decent breakout where we can sell the yen against some of these currencies and hold on to the short position, the yen short position, or the long Canadian dollar or the long Aussie dollar positions, or the New Zealand dollar position against the yen. Maybe this is a swing trade opportunity that we can hold for a number of days or even weeks. I'm going to finish up with the pound versus the yen. Clearly in a really good bull run for a few years now, since 2020 at least, the pound has been accelerating against the Japanese yen. It's not doing so well against the US dollar. It's only going sideways. So that really does emphasize the weakness of the yen. We've just pushed up through the November and the January high. I think the pound can start to accelerate against the yen. So this short yen idea really is the best swing trade opportunity that I can find right now. I think and I hope that the yen is starting to embark on a new leg lower. And so far, we've not had any hint from the Bank of Japan that they're going to step in and stop this move. That will be your only risk if you are shorting the yen. If the Bank of Japan does step in, there could be a violent move up in the yen, which could catch us all out very quickly.